I think practically every woman who's in a relationship has a deep craving and a need to be treated like she's the woman in the relationship. See, when I say princess treatment, I don't mean a man showering you with materialism, getting you the new iPhone every year, paying for your $200 bi-monthly manicure, giving you his credit card to go on a shopping spree every weekend. That kind of materialistic-minded treatment is not going to make you happy, trust me. A prince does happily provide for you, but overconsumption does not make anyone happy. What I mean by princess treatment in this context is getting treated like a woman. A man treating you like you are the feminine aspect in a relationship. You may think that because you would be the woman in any given relationship, that men are going to default to treating you like you are the woman in the relationship, but unfortunately that is not the case. Modern men widely don't treat women like women, mainly because modern men are discouraged from being self-actualized men. Men have been so demoralized by secularism, androgyny, hypersexualization, adult content, and the villainization of masculinity that they don't really view women as women anymore, which is why you often hear dejected, demoralized, red-pilled men refer to us as females instead of women. I don't like the red-pilled manosphere, but they are being honest when they talk like that because they see us as mere females. That's why modern men so often only do the bare minimum for women romantically. They see women as the bare minimum of what we are. We're not women to them. We're male light to them. We're just technically female, and that's it. That is why these kinds of demoralized red pill men don't see the benefit of treating women that well. If you brought up the concept of treating a woman like she's a princess to a bitter red-pilled man, he'd probably laugh in your face and think that any man who'd treat a woman like that is automatically a simp. I mean, those men don't even see the benefit of giving women sexual loyalty. And yes, it's partly because they're selfish, but it's also because these men have been so demoralized to the point where they don't see the feminine in women anymore. And it's the feminine in women that sparks the prince in men. You see, classically, the feminine to the masculine is the manifestation of a judgmental ideal. Classically, men have viewed women as these ethereal, beautiful creatures whom they need to impress, whom they have a strong urge to show off for. You'll even see this in nature. You'll see the male bird show off to the female bird to seduce her. However, the female bird just is. She does not need to do anything except be herself to get the male's attention, but the male needs to actively impress the woman, and this is because even in nature, the feminine is most simplistically the manifestation of being, and the masculine is the manifestation of doing. That is why it is more than okay to want princess treatment as a woman. That urge is simply you wanting to be treated as the feminine in a romantic relationship, as the receptive, passive aspect, and less as the take charge, provisional leader. And I don't mean passive in the pejorative sense, just in the manner of being.
But wait, there's more.
You've also, girl, you have got to take sex off the table. Not forever, just until marriage. And if any men out there are grimacing at that comment, then respectfully, you're not yet a prince. I'm sorry, but you're not, because you have made an idol out of sex, because sex is more important to you than following God and giving her what she deserves, which is commitment before sex. Sex is a lot for women. Modern women often think it's not. You know, look at our OF problem. It's so sad what women are doing to themselves. But if a woman having sexual boundaries is too much for you, then you don't really want to be a prince. You want to have your cake and eat it too. And I know that too, especially any non-religious ladies out there, that this may seem like too much, but this was the standard for centuries. Up until birth control, men didn't expect sex in return for being just a decent guy. The goal was marriage. The goal was to impress the lady enough that she'd want to be with him in holy matrimony. Women basically communicated that if you want to be with me, if you want me to give you wifely benefits, then you're going to have to marry me. And the men understood and respected that. And the women, of course, also understood that they wouldn't receive full provision until marriage as well. The standards were a two-way street, and this worked. Taking sex off the table worked. It weeded out the immature, lustful boys from the mature, optimized men who were willing to put in the work to quote unquote get the girl. You have to clearly communicate to him that you are saving sex for marriage, and you have to subtly communicate to him through how you carry yourself, treat yourself, what impresses you, what you ask for, what boundaries you enforce, what it'll take to get you to marry him. You always have to value self-respect over male attention. If you make an idol out of male attention, then you will be okay with not only the bare minimum, but also disrespect, because simply having their attention is enough for you. Simply having them in your life is enough to make you want more. Doesn't matter if they're disloyal, it doesn't matter if they're incompetent, doesn't matter if they're lukewarm or if they make you anxious. None of that matters if at the end of the day, they're texting you and liking your Instagram stories when you make an idol out of male attention. It's almost natural to do this. Women covet male attention because it makes us feel desirable, and that's an addictive feeling. Some women are even willing to share a rich man if it means he is still in her life. And that is making an idol out of male attention and money. If you have had trouble in this arena before, a quick effective exercise you can do is write down your absolute non-negotiables and make sure each man you pay mind to ticks off each non-negotiable. For instance, here's an example of a 5-tier non-negotiable list. 1 needs to be an earnest Christian, 2 needs to make me feel secure, 3 needs to communicate with me every single day, 4 needs to speak kindly about his friends and family, and 5 needs to be employed. Simply
One question, are you a virgin? That one question shuts down the rest of the conversation regarding taking sex off the table in relationships. If you are not a virgin at the start of the conversation, then you must answer whether or not you in turn are comfortable being simply a friend in the context of that same conditional stipulation on our collective time spent together going forward. What I'm talking about is a conditional friend zone based on your own sexual history. If you are not a virgin, no one is being shamed. It is simply complete honesty in the sexual marketplace. You must also be comfortable going 50-50. Additionally, talk of the princess treatment is off the table, along with your non-existent virginity as well. The moral and intellectual impetus behind that preferred state of being is that your non-existent chastity makes it unfair for the male, as you call men, in all fairness, to have a legitimate romantic experience with a situation virgin, knowing she has been sexually active in the past. That's fair, right? If a woman expects the princess treatment, shouldn't her suitor have that same expectation on the other side of the situation? Also, don't you think it's a bit standoffish and interpersonally egregious to tell a man not to expect sex right up front? I mean, no decent self-respecting man is going to openly declare they're having sex with you off the rip, right, ma'am? The ball is still in your court whether you verbalize it or not. One has to ask if you would be okay with coffee and walk in the park dates fairly attached to non-sexual interludes, that is platonic dates. No kissing, right, queen? Looking at it logically, what you are talking about with this princess treatment stuff is in reality a sexless sugar baby arraignment. Men are okay with standard chivalry, but what you describe is distinctly one-sided in favor of the female, view of things. Now that's not fair, is it, miss? The argument, rather the comparison, could be made between a little girl's imaginary tea party and what you're suggesting in your informational, supposedly Christian video. Not to sound like a wet blanket tossed over your fever dream, but aren't there Christian and celibate dating sites for what you are suggesting? It seems disingenuous and a bit dangerous for women to move in the traditional dating markets exposing conditional virginity, off topic, but your repeated pronunciation of males reeks of covert misandry, ma'am. Also, men do not like to be called males. It is a gender-based slur used by misandrist females. Are you a misandrist? Were you a virgin before you got married? Hate to use a slogan, but I ain't paying the toll. If there ain't no hole, put that shit on your table. Women present sexually upfront and wave used undies about hoping some simp with deep pockets is gonna catch the breeze. Hey, just being sexually honest with you. It would be nice to go out with a woman who legitimately was interested in me beyond my pockets, tangibles and assists. You got the mating game inverted, ma'am. Men do not court modern women. They definitely don't go before them hat in hand asking for pussy. Males do that, ma'am. I suspect that is all you were used to before getting hitched. That is your comfort zone and the pulpit from which you preach covert misandrist narcissism disguised as a faith-based argument and relationship advice. You've really got to work on that low-boiling contempt for men, not males. Men will not entertain conditional chastity, so bringing that up to a man will most likely be a deal breaker. Males worship pussy, men don't. They know it is a lower brain function. This is why I asked if you were inundated with males prior to your alleged Christian marriage, ma'am. If you're dealing with real red-blooded men, then you are comfortable playing the background. That is your place according to the Bible. Taking sex off the table is a straw man argument if you've already had your cheeks clapped, even once. Openly declaring sex is off the table opens up a cringe factor of respondent questions about the person or persons you actually had sex with prior to our initial meeting. It creates the mindset that past guy or guys were worthy enough of your box, whereas the man or male in question is not. Understand? That's layman's terms for your information. Hey, this is America, 3K's inset, and supposedly a free country. No one is questioning a woman's body autonomy, just the verbal application and unnecessary issues associated with telling a man sex is off the table when you don't have to. Are you okay with being in the friend zone interpersonally and economically after declaring your conditional chastity? It's a rhetorical question because your answer will not matter to a real man. Sprinkle, sprinkle, drizzle, drizzle. Kings, keep your head on a swivel, protect your bag, and above all else, do not make fallen women the stewards of your family. Do not make them the mothers of your children. They are your future, your legacy. SYSBM means save yourself, black men.
The Black Patriarchy. A non-existent group of fictional black male power brokers not discredited, erroneously jailed or outright killed by the minority majority who look the other way as they work tirelessly to shame, oppress, and outright take out the altruistic black female populace of the honorable democratic United States of America. 3K's inset bitches. These evil wealthy members of the black patriarchy are the sole reason for all the ills of the black community, walking, talking, holding down jobs, and doing everything up to and including giving their very lives in service to their baby mamas and baby's motherfucking kids. Their motto that strikes fear into the hearts of black women everywhere: bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.